So some people ask me if they need to microchip their dog. Well, again, in our situation where I live in Ontario, we don't have to microchip our dogs. Please check with your local regulations, because it might be that in your area you may have to microchip your dog. So what is microchipping your dog? It's basically they put a tiny little microchip, usually around the back of their head, somewhere in their neck, around their ears, in their between their shoulders and their head anyways. Again, that may depend also where you live, that they may do things slightly differently. The microchip doesn't hold any personal information. It doesn't tell the person who scans it who the dog belongs to, what address and everything. It basically is a number, a long, I don't know how many strings, but it's a long number. And each number corresponds with a few companies that make these microchips. These microchips are registered with this company, and you register your name and address with that company. So if a dog is found, especially with the shelters, they tend to scan the dog as well to see if there are any identification marks in this case, and there could be a microchip. And then they can, especially if the dog is found wandering around the street, they check it if it has microchips, and therefore they can now bring the dog back to the proper owner, of course. So it's important you keep your information with these companies up to date, because if you move, then it's obviously pointless to have that. So you need to contact that company if you decided to get a microchip. The benefit of a microchip is versus a dog tag. Maybe you do have the city tag, but maybe some people like to have, if it's not necessary in your area, but you want your dog to have some form of identification, you want to have your phone number on there or your address. It's up to you to decide what you want to do. But sometimes they get out of their collar, or their collar got stuck somewhere and it snapped or something. Their collar is gone. Now there's no way for anybody to know who this dog belongs to. Maybe the dog was staying at your friend's house, you were on holidays, your dog takes off out of their backyard, they don't know where to look. If a dog is kept in the pound for an X amount of days, they sometimes end up putting dogs down because they are there, nobody is claiming them, and nobody is interested in taking them home. You might lose your dog permanently. So this will be a great way of identifying your dog if they ever get out, and they can be properly brought back to your home, or at least you can be contacted where you can find your dog. The cost of it, usually in this area I've heard about around $65. Now obviously every area can be totally different. It can be a lot cheaper, a lot more expensive. It all depends on the vet or the area you live in. So contact your vet, because most of the times you can set this up with your vet. They just use a little syringe and they get it in your dog, and then you just do some registration work, and there you go, it's all registered now. So usually you want to contact your vet if that's something you want to consider. Depending on the area, again, it may not have to be mandatory, but it might just be a good thing, because if your dog gets out, it's usually easier to find your dog back in the future. So that's it for Microchip, and we'll see you in the next video.